Digitalization has changed so many aspects of our lives. Will this also happen to running? Will the treadmill and the virtual world be where we go to for our group runs and races in the future? Well, some of us already do, and it's happening through the online training game Zwift. I love running outside and think it's a big part of what makes running so great, but when I heard about virtual running in Zwift, I was intrigued enough that I thought that I gotta try it out and see if it can make indoor training more fun. So here's the plan. To really test it out, I'm gonna do most of my runs within this virtual world for the next 5 days and hopefully find all of the positive and negative aspects to this futuristic way of running. And by the end of the week, I will actually be running a race within Zwift. Today's first session is just going to be an easy jog around to check out the game, and inside here you can choose different worlds to run in and different routes. So I'm going to go with this one for today, a short 5 kilometers route within Vatopia, which is this fantasy world that Zwift has created. Doing my first easy run in the game, I found it pretty nice. Seeing my virtual avatar running through this landscape actually made it feel more like real running than just being on the treadmill staring into the wall. And it was nice seeing other runners and cyclists being out training, knowing that those are actually real people working out somewhere in the world. As you can see, there are a lot of cyclists within this virtual world, and Zwift started off as just a cycling game and has become extremely popular amongst cyclists. It hasn't blown up in the same way in the running community, but what's good with that is that it is still free to use the game for running, while you have to pay a monthly subscription if you want to cycle within the game. First run within Zwift done, and I must say I'm actually positively surprised. Maybe it was just because it was something new to try out, but I think the time went a lot faster than if I was just running on the treadmill without this virtual world. So it was fun, but I'm really looking forward to try it out more and tomorrow do a proper session within the game and not just jogging around. So I don't do all of my runs this week on Zwift because every morning I run with kids to take care about a 3 kilometers run, and although those virtual environments in Zwift are nice, they really can't compare running under a sunrise and sky like this one we have today. It would have been nice to just continue my run outside, but I'm sticking to this Zwift testing week, and hopefully I can find some nice virtual environments to run in as well. And today I'm actually doing a bit of a tougher session, which I really look forward to, but before I head into that session, I thought I would show you the setup you need to run Zwift. There are 3 different setups you can use to get Zwift working. You can have a footpod or watch that calculates your running speed and then sends that information via Bluetooth to your computer or tablet. And this is probably the easiest and cheapest alternative. You can use any treadmill and don't have to have your own treadmill. But the speed you will get within the game from a footpod isn't super accurate. The second alternative is to have a smart treadmill that communicates directly to Zwift and sends the exact speed the treadmill is currently on to the game, which is probably the best way to do it, but of course it's not that cheap to have a smart treadmill. The third alternative is what I'm using for my own setup, which is just to have a regular treadmill with no smart functions, but you add this small little speed sensor to the side of your treadmill that then sends the information of how fast your belt is going to your tablet or computer, and I'm just using my laptop here. Today's workout will be one of my favorite threshold intervals, which is 5 minutes times 5 with a 1 minute rest, and trying to keep the intervals on a controlled threshold intensity. That was a good session, but to be honest, I was pretty much in my own head and my own flow state trying to get through the intervals. Although it was nice seeing my avatar on the screen running pretty fast. But tomorrow I'm trying something new within the game that I really look forward to. As you can see, snow came to town today, and I actually really like running outside during winter. But it's still nice to have the option to do your runs inside during the darkest and the coldest months here in Norway. Today I'm going to try to get a proper hill training within the game, and since my treadmill isn't a smart treadmill, it of course doesn't adjust the incline by itself. But what I'm going to try to do is to check what the incline says within the game. You can see it on the top right there, and then I'm just changing the incline manually to match the grade that I'm running in the game. And I have chosen a pretty steep route today, so this will be interesting. My treadmill, like most treadmills, can't adjust to a downhill incline, so then I just left the treadmill flat. But on the uphills it felt even more like I was actually running within the virtual world when I was adjusting the incline to match the one in the game. During this third day I also found a really scenic route within the fantasy world of Watopia, and it was actually pretty nice to just look at the surroundings running alongside waterfalls, in tunnels and over bridges. It was also a really nice touch that the time of day and the weather gradually changes. I mean, it's not like running outside in beautiful nature, but I was surprised that I actually got some of that feeling from just seeing the beautiful virtual landscapes within the game. As a filmmaker, I also had a really fun time switching up the camera angles during my run. So, although I don't think it's a replacement for running outside in cool places, I think it can be an alternative way of getting to experience and see things even when you're stuck on a treadmill at home or in a gym. I'm lucky that I live close to nice trails and beautiful nature, but if I would have lived in a big city with just concrete cars and buildings, I think I would appreciate how beautiful the places you can run in this game are even more. Whoa, didn't that Finnish cyclist pass me pretty recklessly close there? No, of course you don't have to worry about traffic within the game, and that's nice compared to running in big cities at least. Running through this Mayan-inspired landscape got me thinking of what the future holds for this kind of gamified indoor training, because we gotta remember that this is just the beginning of this development, and I guess in the future there will be way better graphics, and it would be super cool to see different implementations of wearing a VR headset, although it might make it difficult to stay on the treadmill. Today is the last day before the competition I will be running within Zwift. So today will just be an easy run of about 30 minutes. But I'm going to try to run in a real world, or not real, but yeah, you will get what I mean when I start running. So instead of choosing the fantasy world of Watopia today, I'm going to choose London, that has been modeled by the real London city. So I think I will just choose this 6-kilometer course here that goes along the river. Even though it was nice running in London, I still preferred the more scenic fantasy worlds that I had been running in earlier. But it would be really cool to see some more scenic real-world places within the game. It would, for example, be super cool with some of the epic mountain trails we have here in Norway recreated in the game. That, together with a treadmill that automatically can change the incline, both to really steep and to a downhill, could create a really fun and immersive indoor running experience. I'm done with my final training session of this Zwift testing week, and now I'm super psyched to run my first race tomorrow. So I'm looking through here and I found this race that takes place tomorrow. And it's a 2-kilometer race, pretty short, but I think that's a good start to my Zwift racing. And you choose different categories based on your level. So on a 2 kilometers race, I think I belong to this one, the toughest A category. And I just hope I'm in good enough shape to be competitive there. So let's just sign up. Just 1 minute until the race starts, and you can see me standing there on the starting line together with a lot of runners. So I'm actually getting some of those real race nerves, although this is just a virtual running race. and I can't wait to start. 40 seconds to go. And racing on the treadmill will be a bit different from regular racing because I can actually decide my exact pace I want to start at. And given that this is just a 2-kilometer race, I think I will have to max up my treadmill almost to the maximum of what this treadmill does, and I hope I can keep close to that pace at least. 2, 1. There, I'm off in my first ever virtual running race, and you can see me going out in second position, and quite early in the race this guy in front of me gets a little bit of a gap and I have some margin back to the chasers. I actually quite directly put my treadmill to the maximum speed, which is supposed to be 22 kilometers per hour, but my speed sensor read it as 20 kilometers per hour, which I actually think is more correct based on the feeling I was having. This is a problem with racing on Zwift. There are so many different ways of measuring your treadmill running speed, and many of them are not that exact. Also, it's of course super easy to cheat if someone wants to do that. But I quite quickly felt that this maxed out speed is about what I should be capable of holding for this 2-kilometer race. So now I'm just fighting to stay on the treadmill and hoping that the leading guy will get tired and have to slow down so I can catch up with him. While I'm fighting on to hopefully catch the leader of the race, I thought I would sum up my Zwift testing experience. So is this the future of running? Well, at least for me, I never think that virtual running will replace being outside, because even though I enjoyed my running within Zwift, the short morning runs outside with the twins was still by far my best running experiences. But I must say that I'm still positively surprised, and I think that Zwift will at least make my treadmill sessions during the winter more fun. I also think that all technology that motivates people to be more physically active is positive. And I'm actually really excited of what the future holds for this kind of indoor training. Coming into the last part of the race, it's really frustrating that I can't do a sprint finish since my treadmill doesn't go any faster. But I'm still happy finishing in second place in my first ever virtual running race. If you want to see me put this treadmill on the maximum speed and maximum incline to see how long I'm able to stay on there, you can click here. Train smart, have fun, and I will see you in the next video.